Comrade Show. Wait. Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Comrade Show.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the globe. Yes. It's 5 o'clock on the dot. And today, no technical glitches, no problem at all. Your darling program is with you. Without much ado, I want to say thank you so much for always staying tuned with TCS. This special edition, this special segment we call the Comrade and Friends. There is no gainsaying the obvious. We all know what is happening in our great country, Nigeria. 2023 promises to be a very unique year, promises to be a watershed year, and a year that will determine, indeed, the future of our great country. And we are here today to deepen democracy once again and to look at Nigeria from a different perspective. We've tagged today's program, 2023, the dilemma of a nation. With me today to do justice to this program is our CNC, Comrade Lante Araki. I will bring him shortly to introduce himself to our viewers and our darlings all over the world. I also want to let us know that our second musketeer, Dr. Tony Agbons, is unavoidably absent. Hopefully, he will join us next Sunday to deepen democracy again and to talk more about Nigeria. Information reaching us today and just now says that the Edo State primaries into the different positions, House of Assembly, House of Representatives, and House of Senate is going on. We don't have any information about that now, but I want to promise you in the course of time, once we get information to know what is happening, we will be giving you all those lovely informations. Let me also take a dive as well. For those of us that love sports, today is the last day of Premiership, where we shall have the champions of the English Premier League, those that will be relegated, and those that will play for top four. Whatever your teams are, I want to wish you all the best and congratulate you. Hopefully, in another 1 hour, we will know who becomes the champion in the United Kingdom, the English Premier League, and of course, same for the Scottish League. Football aside, let us go down straight to the cocoa of the matter, 2023, the dilemma of a nation. But just before that, I want to let you know that I remain your brother, your friend, your comrade, pharmacist Augustine Iremira. I will ask the CNC now to introduce himself to our people. Comrade Lante, you are welcome this beautiful afternoon. I can see you are well dressed. It's like you are coming all the way from Caribbean, my Calypso brother. Please say hello to our people.
Yes, Comrade Austin Iremira, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much for your encouragement and thank you for everything and all that you do. Yes, fellow Nigerians, it's a beautiful Sunday, this 22nd day of May. And of course, we are here to look at Nigeria as of course, the topic says, 2023, the dilemma of a nation. Of course, we are in a very huge dilemma because of the choices before us. And please, if you are joining us, help share this broadcast because from our end, we keep on talking about these issues because, you know, the movement to liberate Nigeria is a movement that must be sustained. And that is exactly what we are doing right here. So you do your bit, share the broadcast and be part of the process. Over to you, Austin Iremira. God bless, my man.
Thank you so much, CNC Comrade Lante Araki. Viewers, it promises to be a very important one. At some point today, we'll be opening the line so that we can hear your comments. We want to hear your input. We want you to also be part of the show and part of putting your voice to deepen democracy. Like I said, the topic before us today is 2023, a unique year, the dilemma of a nation. There is no gainsaying the obvious. That if you are not declared for Nigeria presidency, it means you are not making the news. The news is who has not declared, not who that has declared. Where money has become a big issue. You need 100 million to get your ticket. It was said that this was aimed to discourage people. But I want to tell you, the reverse is the case. People are picking their funds from both parties in their droves, with APC leading the chart. And I hear that the party is now very rich because close to, if not more than 20-something people, I can say, have already picked up their presidential nomination. But again, the system is not changing. Nigeria remains. Our problems are still there. Must we remain in sin for grace to abound? We need a change. But at this moment, so many things are plaguing that change if 2023 will be actualized. Tribalism is there, money bag is there. Many of our leaders lack capacity and intelligence, and we have a battle to fight in our hands. That battle is to change Nigeria and set Nigeria in the right place. Without wasting time, Comrade Lamte, I want to come back to you. Tell us, 2023, our nation, is it really in dilemma? Look at it from that angle.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Comrade from Mrs. Austin in Remiran. You know, we have been in dilemma, for a very long time, and it's even more obvious now, particularly looking at the last 7 years and the kind of leadership we've had, and the kind of issues that have been plaguing Nigeria. Apparently, it's easy to just quickly identify that failure of leadership is a major part of it. Now, the failure of leadership, many of us are not looking at it, from the angle of who is there right now, but we are looking at it from the angle of the roles all of us Nigerians have played, to give us the status quo as it is. And so 2023, becomes a dilemma because because of the status quo against the backdrop of a very huge outcry by Nigerians for the status quo to change. Now, the status quo has to do with, the conscience of the Nigerian people against the backdrop of, monies, flowing and all of that. The status quo is the present state of economic decadence, the present state of insecurity against the backdrop of hope that beyond 2023, the things may start changing. So right now, the future of this nation is not in the hands of the politicians, but it's in the hands of the Nigerian people. It's in the hands of the delegates presently that must make that choice. And the choice is a simple one, yet a difficult one. Difficult because, as usual, as always, they are always enticed with money. And so the choices people make is not a choice that is influenced, conscientiously, but it's a choice that is influenced by how much they have accepted, by the bargain they have reached, compromising everybody's collective interest. And so it is and remains a dilemma until we are able, to act conscientiously, to do the right things, at the right time, given this period that we are in right now.
Thank you, comrade. You have asserted that word dilemma is indeed fitting at this time, especially as our country lie low in every facet and aspect. I'll be zeroing down to the politicians and the party, but I just want to take something from what you said just now. I find that very important. A nation cannot be in dilemma without its people. So before party, before delegates, before flag bearer, we have people. And you have thrown a charge to say that those people are uniquely placed at this moment to turn the tide. But you will agree with me that money has always played a role. Many of our people are bought over. And I remember in one of your broadcasts, you did mention it is time for us to take the money but vote our conscience. So before we go to the politicians, I want you to take a minute or two just to speak to the people, to tell them how important they are in this process, because it is indeed the people, in one way or the other, that is relevant. So before we go to the politicians, do you have a word or two for the Nigerians that will determine whether our nation remain in this dilemma situation or move forward? What would you want to say to the people just before we go to party and delegates? Comrade Lamte.
Yeah, thank you very much once again, coming from Sustain Remira. This is directly to Nigerians, directly to the delegates. In one of my broadcasts, I did say that the delegates are not stones, neither are they trees. They are human beings like, all of us. And right now, the Benin people, used to make a parable. They say that when a blind man stays too long in the dark, he starts to see. And this is exactly, no, rather, when a man stays too long in the darkness, the man starts to see. Now, this is exactly what the situation is. We have lived too long in the darkness of social, economic, political, and security subjugation. And the people bearing the brunt are us Nigerians. When you hear of any bad news, happening to any Nigerian, like we've been hearing recently, somebody being killed, by religious fanatics, somebody's being beheaded by some unknown gunmen in Anambra State, some explosion rocking somewhere in the north or in the west or everywhere. All of these, the victims belong to certain families. They are people's friends. They are people's children. They are people's parents. They are people's, whatever. They are Nigerians, and somehow they are all connected to us. All of them. Before you know 2, 3, 4, 5 persons, you know a victim. So at the end of the day, the issue is, how did we get here? When you look at it, why we point fingers at the leaders, the president, and of course his team, and those are supposed to, put the structures in place to protect Nigerians. The truth of the matter is that we occasioned the process. Nigerians occasioned the process by the decisions we made. And God is faithful. 2023, in fact, this period linked to 2023 is another process of deciding. Some of us collected some bags of rice to, to subjugate or to hide our own consciences, and voted for the people we have right now. Some of us collected money, some of us collected whatever. We compromised. The ripple effect of that compromise is what we are getting right now. There is no guessing the fact that Nigeria is not where it ought to be. There is no guessing the fact that every Nigerian right now, no matter how highly placed, no matter how rich you may be, no matter how, whatever position you are, everybody is feeling the brunt one way or the other. And what we are getting is as a result of bad leadership. Bad leadership that we gave a mandate to. And right now, this time, because of what we've been through, all I want to say to Nigerian people, Nigerians, the delegates, everybody alike, is that we have a chance to make that change, to make that difference, to make this time count. Therefore, while monies are flowing like never before, as a matter of fact, before this particular broadcast just now, I was in the call with somebody, and I understand that in fact Naira is no longer the in thing. They are not paying with dollars and pound sterling, paying the delegates to buy them over and all of that. Look, the monies they are giving, they are Nigerian people's money. They are money meant to build our roads, monies that were meant to build our hospitals, monies that were meant to ensure that lecturers, and teachers will not be on strike, monies that were meant to ensure that our infrastructure, in this country, they are in place and all of that, stolen by a few persons. What I'm saying is, we won't say don't collect money. If you are offered, collect money, but understand that as you are collecting the money with one palm of your hand, understand that you have a conscience and you owe your conscience a duty. And that duty is for the good of the generality of Nigerians. And that conscience should make you go out there and vote for the right person to become the candidate of your political party, whether PDP or APC. If at the end of the day, Nigerians believe that the people that have emerged as candidates of these political parties, they are people that were brought on, that were voted conscientiously by the delegates, looking at the overall interest of the people, then many of us will be happy with the process. And the delegates must equally understand that you are a delegate not for yourself, you are a delegate for your constituency. And therefore, I advise every delegate right now that have this decision to make to look at what the constituency, their constituents are saying, to look at what the people in their constituency, what they are saying, the body language of the people, the aspirants that the constituents want to support, so that you carry that, a mandate of the people, and let that inform your decision on who to vote for. not how much money, dollars or pounds, that may have entered your hand. Don't compromise. This time should be different. Let's make it count so that Nigeria, the ship of Nigerian state, can be steadied. The ship of Nigerian state can advance and stability can return and Nigerians can smile again. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for your input. We are going to anchor today's program finally on delegates, but I just wanted you to speak to Nigerians, and indeed you did so. You reminded us once again that Nigerians are uniquely placed at this moment to turn the tide. My dear listeners and those that watch this program later, I want to reassure you, whatever you do today, you will get tomorrow. So please, like Comrade said, I have also supported. You can take the money, but vote your conscience. So that after 2023, you have no mouth or power to complain. We are the citizens and masses of Nigeria that suffers, not the politicians. Now we have the key. I just wanted to establish that. Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for your input. And for our viewers, at some point, like I said, the lines will be thrown open. But if you want to say anything in the course of the program, even before the lines are open, once you dial us, we'll be happy to pick the call for you. Comrade Lamte, a very big issue. Like I said, we are going to anchor on delegates. But I want to say something. Dr. Tony Agbons has mentioned this countless number of times, that it's not only PDP or APC that can produce presidency for Nigeria. In fact, according to INEC list, there are 18 parties contesting for different positions. So Nigeria should be reminded once again that there are other parties there. Now, we know how uniquely placed our country is, and we cannot run away, really, from the issue of zoning until we restructure. It is now clear, if not obvious, that these big parties, the PDP and the APC, have somewhat thrown zoning out of contention at the moment. So I want you to speak to that. What is your thought on this move by these parties, especially the big ones, to jettison zoning at this time? Some people have argued because some are scared of losing. Some have got big political bigwig in quote, who they don't want to disappoint. Well, I find this all intriguing because in all of this, there is nothing that stands for the Nigerian people. What is your take about throwing zoning to the back door? When in my view, I think at this moment, we really need it. If you ask me, I would say that the next president, for the sake of fairness, equity, and fair play, should come from the East. But it appears this might not see the light of day, given the current situation of these two big parties having jettison zoning. I would like you to speak to that before we go to the next step of today's discussion.
I thank you once again, coming from Assistant Remiran. We 2023 and beyond is pregnant, honestly, with a lot of things. Right about now, we've seen a lot of agitations with IPOP. Of course, we equally saw from the Southwest, from Sonny Igboho and all of that, people advocating and arguing, making a case for referendum and self-determination and all of that. As much as many people may speak to the fact that, oh, this may not be necessary and all of that, it only makes sense, to reason along the path that when you don't feel belong to a place, you want to leave the place. And that speaks, hugely to the level of injustice, pervading the entire Nigerian political space. When you look at this country, the way this country was born, the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914 and how, the nation became a nation of regions as around 1946, leading to, all the nationalist movement to independence and the Republican independence, the different military coup we had, and the remote causes that led to the Nigerian Civil War, and after the war, and all the promises made and all of that. of a truth, we have never been a united Nigeria, a united nation. We have never been. We have been more like a confederal state, what with a lot of injustice. And so I'm driving to a point. That is why I'm not attacking the question head on at the moment. But I'm going down to the question. In my own opinion, I think that it's another high level of injustice displayed by the Nigerian political elite, particularly the political class in the northern part of Nigeria. Now, I cannot, in any good conscience, believe that what's called a Fulani Northerner, having done 80 years as president, Nigeria will be faced with the prospect of having another Fulani Northerner take over from him. It's unthinkable. You understand what I'm saying now? But again, it drives a point that this country is purely one-sided when it comes to the issue of leadership. When you look at it, for some people in the core north, holding on to power is their business, and so they do everything to ensure that happens, irrespective of whatever the mood of the nation is, and it is wrong. And so I would rather say that to jettison zoning is the first step, okay, of laying a framework and a firm foundation for crisis beyond 2023. Because at the end of the day, when you jettison zoning, with the Northerners having put a lot of structures in place to ensure that numerically they will continue to be more populated down the south. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So there is almost practically no way, based on the formula they are using, where the south will be more in number than those from the north. So if there's a contest between a southerner and a northerner, the north will always win. You understand what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they're doing right now. And so even while that mathematics out there, people are still making very serious advocacy for, a very, I mean, it's a standard, Easterner, talking of Peter Obi, as a choice before us that Nigerians need to take a look at, irrespective of wherever we are from. Okay, so that we start creating that balance from, that angle. Then, looking at the injustice I was talking about just now, no Igbo man has ever ruled this country as president. And we cannot continue to swim in that and believe that all is well. It is not. It is not. And I think that this time is the most apt time where we need to get this right, so that tension can be reduced in this country. And if somebody like Peter Obi is elected, apart from dousing tension across the nation, yeah, we have somebody who is prepared, who has prepared himself very well for this job.
Yeah,
To
Comrade
steady
Lamte,
Nigeria.
Comrade Lamte, I will stop you there, because there's going to be a point in this conversation today where we are going to really look at the candidate. But I just want us to lay it down. And you have answered my question very well to say that jettison zoning at this time and at this moment might not be palatable. We can't see tomorrow, but looking at from where we are today, it might be a wrong move. And like I said before, I think this is being done not for the interest of the entire Nigerian people, but for selfish interest. In 1998-99, it was said, when democracy came, in order to pacify the South following the annulment of June 12 presidential election, the person to become president was thrown to the South. And every other South, East, West inclusive, decided that it should go to the West. Many people have argued, I will come to this point at the moment. It's only fair that all of us in the South all agree in unison to say, let us give it to the Southeast. Like I said, I am absolutely miffed that we have a huge number of people, especially coming from the Southwest. So, Comrade, just your final thought on this. I don't think the albatross of we Satana becomes president is the making of the North. I think we Satanas happen to be our own worst enemy. What is your take on that?
Look, from Assistant Remira, the dynamics of Nigerian politics is such that we cannot look at it from the very periphery. Um, I will say to you, my brother, that the northern, political class, they are a lot smarter. They are way ahead of the southerners when it comes to politics and all of that. And again, they can easily be one block because of this similarity in their culture, the language, everything. In the south, we can hardly be a bloc because the South is made up of more nations than you have in the North. You understand? In the West, you have a different nation altogether. In the East, you have a different nation altogether. In the South, you have different nations altogether. And so somehow, the idea of wanting to present my own, which has characterized the Nigerian, space for a very long time, will always play its role. And again, the political dynamics of Nigeria, over time practically has shown that somehow our political brothers from the West, they have always had a way of aligning with the North to perpetually keep the South. I mean, what's it called? Perpetually keep the East, in a cage, in quotes, to ensure that the East does not get, this benefit of being part of this process. Because when they support the Northerners, somehow they seem to enjoy, the idea that they are playing second fiddle to the North, and so they sort of. I'm not talking of all the Yorubas. I'm talking of those that have made up the political class for so many years coming and all of that. So all of that have played, their roles in all of this. Because at the end of the day, I remember in 1999, the two major political parties we had, SDP and NROC. Was it? No. Is it PDP and which other party we had? It wasn't APC at the time.
It was APP, I think, or something.
I don't know. But we had two Yorubas. You understand what I'm saying? Obasanjo was one. I think Olufalaye was the other. As candidates of two major political parties. And so wherever he goes, the nation agreed at that time that a Yoruba person should become the president of Nigeria. You understand? And there was no contest. Two Yorubas were flag bearers for the two major political parties and all of that. So some of us actually thought and expected that this time, let us have two Igbos emerge as, major flag bearers. I mean, as flag bearers of two major political parties.
Exactly my question, comrade.
Yes. You understand what I'm saying? But the what's it called? The Iwinwizi of politics. You understand what I'm saying now? It's not going to allow them to do that. Because again, the influence of some of these, northern political leaders that actually don't want to see an Igbo man become president, okay, they will find they will even infiltrate the Igbos. Have you not seen? We've had periods where you expect the Igbos to even be united. You have more than 10 Igbo people, picking forms to run for president when they could actually sit, and put themselves together and say, okay, we are presenting just one front, and keep it like that. So at the end of the day, I think we need to, the nation need to arrive at that stage where we say, this time, it should be these people. Let those people go and produce the best of their very best to lead the nation. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So, but that is not happening right now, and I think that it's a footnote to very huge problems in the future if things don't go the way they ought to go.
Thank you so much, Komilante. I must say at that point, myself and yourself disagree slightly. I would argue, and I listened to, I think it was former governor Ojiuzo Kalu, who lambasted the leader of the Ijaw people, I've forgotten his name now, Ike Clark, for blessing everybody that comes to him. He thinks, in his view, nobody in the South should have at least bought forms. They should have allowed all the Easterners to buy form and let the contestation and the act of picking somebody come from only the East. But that's not the case. Yes, one can say that the North has a bit of input, But we Southerners need to have a retrospect and think about it. So I would say, overall, we are culpable, but it's been thrown open. As educated people, I don't think zoning should be something that we should do. But you've traced our historical antecedents and how our nation is, with many things plaguing us. The only way for effective leadership somehow will be zoning. I'm worried, just like you are, that at this point, these big parties have refused, not for the interest of Nigeria, I must re-emphasize, but I think for their own selfish interest and the possibility of their party retaining power. But we've established that, we've put our queries down. Now we are going to zero down to these delegates and look at them individually to see which one would give Nigeria the best and take Nigeria from their present situation. We'll be starting with the PDP. The PDP is the opposition party, and every opposition party in any democracy should be setting the tone for the next elections. And in PDP, there's so many people jostling for position, even though their candidacy fee is not up to 100 million. Theirs is also in millions as well. But of course, let's look at those in the field. Komelanti, if you can bring that photograph again, let us see that those running for PDP, so that we can look at them one after the other to see where we stand. I can see on your picture display those making the rounds. We have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former vice president of Nigeria, one-time governor of Adamawa State, and then used to be a custom officer. We have Peter Obi, the one that is trending at the moment, the darling from the East, former governor of Anambra State. We have the immediate past Speaker of the House of Senate and former governor of Kwara State. We have the incumbent governor of Kwara State, Aminu Tambuwa, and many more within the PDP. But this I've mentioned seems to be like pulling the weight. And we have another seasoned economist or a banker, I think Ayatidin, who is also part and parcel of this. So, Comrade Lanti, looking at this, PDP need to turn the tide. APC is in established and in the state of absolute jeopardy. They don't know where to go to, they don't know where to turn. Development and promises made to deliver good governance, you will agree with me, has been at par, has been very low. So at this point, you would expect that PDP should sweep the day. But with the way things are going now, they are even yet to put their hearts together. Myself and yourself, common Nigerians, will not be there to pick the delegate. We can only make a choice based on the delegate before us. Can you just, in a few minutes, look at these delegates and then let us just have a quick word about them? I know former Governor Peter Obi is trending. There was a million march in Lagos. There's some plan in other states. But we are not delegates. What are his chances? Speak to the PDP candidacy in the next few minutes, Comrade Lanti.
Well, there is one. There is something I like, about change. I like that change is the only permanent thing in life, and I know that a lot of people have spoken to the fact that
just before you go, Comrade Lanti, I've been corrected. Once in a while we make mistake. Atiku was an elected governor. He never assumed the seat. Thank you so much, Anthony Ajibola Omoriyi, for that quick correction. Comrade Lanti, you can go on.
Okay. Yes. So, like I was saying, it's often said that the only permanent thing in life is change, and somehow, because of the history we've had, people tend to speak to the fact that, oh man, it is not possible for Peter Obi to emerge. I don't align with that. I don't align with that because in the recent past, 2020, I could tell you that Governor Baseki was not supposed to be the governor of Edo State if the status quo was to hold. But Edo people resolved and said this time must be different. And Edo people came out in their numbers, did all they had to do, and they said, we are, this is a moving train against the status quo. against the idea that somebody will sit somewhere and tell the nation who the president will be, or who the governor is going to be, or who the candidate is going to be. And people came out to make that statement. And Governor Baseki was elected. I think this time is not different. I think that, right now, gradually, when we started the discourse around Peter Obi, it was not this massive. On a daily basis, more Nigerians are baptized into the Peter Obi movement. So I think very strongly, since the delegates are selected from amongst the people, they already see, that this is a train that is moving, a train, because PDP wants to win, and you want to win with the best candidate you have. And I must say, looking at the numbers right there, the man that is most impeccable, one that corruption has not greeted, since his own political career began and all of that. Look at all of them. People on that list, from Atiku to former Senate President to Governor Wike to Tambuwa and all of that. These guys have had one corruption case or the other tied around them, one issue or the other tied around them. The only man that appeared impeccable in this group of the PDP, what's it called, aspirants, is Governor Peter Obi. So I think that against all odds, and he's the only man, even right now, that somehow the feelers we are getting is the only man who's not going about looking for how to settle delegates with money. And I mean, if I start to be corrected, but that is information we are getting from the field. That is the only man who he has transversed the 36 states of Nigeria, appealing to these delegates one after the other, and all of that. So I think that given the life of Peter Obi as a governor, his antecedents, and what he's been doing even ever since, the evidences are there, and nobody has come out to disprove all of these claims that he himself has been making, that people have been making on his behalf. And looking at his own personal life, as a man who is a top man in society. His daughter had a wedding about nearly 2 months ago and all of that. Anna Blaster was not locked down. It was like anybody's wedding. There was no big news here and there. You understand what I'm saying now? And all of that. And in this same country, we see some politicians' children have their own birthdays, and in fact, the entire nation, we hear the news and everybody. So, my brother, the body language, the expression of Peter Obi is so that every delegate right now should listen to and understand that this is the mood of this nation right now, and this is where this nation need to, be directed. And so, whatever is happening out there, all we are saying is, look, they are enticing you with money, collect the money, go there, let your conscience be the judge. And that conscience must be as a result of what is happening to Nigeria right now. And there is no saying the fact that everybody, even the aspirants themselves, they know that the man to be given the opportunity to rule Nigeria right now is Peter Obi. And I think that every delegate should toe that line.
Thank you so much, Komilante. But apart from those big that I mentioned, there are other people that are relatively well known, but they are not former politicians. Dele Momodu has also declared for the PDP. He himself has crisscrossed the entire 36 states of the federation, including Abuja. I also want to put that there. I know in the course of you speaking, why zeroing on Peter Obi, you did mention that he's not very rich and all that. But somebody has also asked me, and I think somebody has put it on Facebook as well. This was the same thing that the president told us he had no money and he wasn't very rich. And we expected him to do the needful. Almost 7 years, going to 8 years down the drain. It's like nothing has changed. I hope we don't expect that from Peter Obi as well. No, well, I know we should be looking more based on capacity. So while answering my last statement I just made, I want you to look at what are the chances too of the other non-politicians that we know that are part of PDP as well. Ayatollah, Dele Momodu, and some other small ones. Why you answer that question? Just speak to that briefly before we move to APC.
Okay, coming from Assistant Remira, I think that Dele Momodu is a good man. I think he's a good man. One of the reasons why, I do not talk about Dele Momodu, it's because right now we need this nation needs somebody who's been there, really, really there. The thing we know about Dele Momodu has been
And let me also inform you, I'm not trying to be tribalistic at the moment. Though Dele Momodu is from our own constituency, is from Edo State. I just wanted to put that in.
No, thank you very much. I don't think that matters right now. That doesn't matter right now. Even if it is the same mother with me, I think right now this nation needs. We must be dispassionate. This nation needs to be properly directed. And we must look at somebody whose antecedent we can speak to clearly, not antecedent just as a private person, as a private businessman, but somebody who's been there, who has faced very similar challenges. Now we must look at the nation and know exactly what is wrong with this nation. In this nation, insecurity is a major problem. Economic insecurity is a major problem. Corruption is a huge issue. You understand what I'm saying now? And the people like Dele Momodu, these people have succeeded in business and all of that, okay? But it's a different ball game when it's got to do with dealing with people at state level, local government level, and as a nation. Right now, earlier today, I made a broadcast, and of course, I revealed to the people that as we speak, $2.5 billion is in the hands of a few persons under Buhari's watch. That money, nobody's talking about it. As we speak, EFCC has just, they've detained the Accountant General of the Federation in a case of about 80 billion naira, okay, under Buhari's watch. And these are the ones that have come out, to the open. How about the ones that Nigerians will never hear of? You understand the picture from what I'm saying now? Now, the leakages within the system is too much. And when we look at the antecedent of Peter Obi as a governor of Anambra State, one of the first things the man did was to plug the leakages in the system. This man, gave away the liaison, the what's it called, the Anambra House in Abuja. You understand what I'm saying now? Did the trade Abada with it to get something for the interest of Anambra State. The man called down his own convoy, reducing waste. The presidential lodge in in Anambra State, he dislodged it to cut waste and all of that, and directed the resources of Anambra State for proper purposes. When this man came on board, he made so much investment in education. Today, Anambra State is ranking number 1 education-wise, come to WAEC and all these exams and all of that in the nation, because the man knew that the major, most important component of development in the nation is education, and he has invested hugely in that, and the state is doing very well. And he left in the coffers of Anambra State nearly 80 billion naira, which today may translate into probably over 1 trillion naira. So my brother, when you look at it, this man has got the capacity, because he's been there before at the state level, to look at this nation and begin to plug all of those holes. You understand what I'm saying? He himself has talked about plugging all these holes and directing our resources into where they need to be. Now, I don't know if any of these other names you've mentioned, okay, they could do this. I don't know. But again, experience counts. Now, if you juxtapose Peter Obi against the backdrop of what's named Buhari and all of that somebody said when Buhari was coming, he did say this, he said that. I tell you the truth. Buhari could not have been president of Nigeria if not for the failure of Jonathan's administration. And that is the truth.
Okay.
Nigerians,
Comrade, I will put you there. I know you've spoken a lot about Peter Obi. I hope in the course of time, once Peter Obi becomes the candidate from the primaries of the PDP, we'll have more time to talk about him. But there's something you said that is very important, which I find very intriguing. You think of all the lots, yes, they might, but in terms of capability and capacity and the willingness to do what is said, you think Peter Obi fills the bill. Myself, yourself, we will not be delegates, but we are appealing to delegates to vote their conscience and make a choice. Our people at home, wherever you are watching from, we are still waiting for that call. You pick up your phone and dial in just to make your input to help us deepen democracy. It's 45 minutes on the clock. I want us to go straight, Comrade Lamte, to look at APC and their candidates, and we'll come back again to wrap today's program up with what is better choice for Nigeria to take us out of the dilemma that indeed we find ourselves. 2023, I said in the intro, and I've often said, and has been repeated by Comrade Lamte, it's a watershed moment and a year that will define Nigeria. We either move forward, remain where we are, or begin to dance gaily in the same place where we are. So now, APC, Comrade Lamte, the incumbent president is from APC. By law, constitutionally, it won't be running. But every leader wants to have a hand in who succeeds him or her. As body language was introduced 7 years ago, it is said that today we can't really tell what the body language of the president is, who is his anointed candidate, who is his choosing successor. Few months ago, we heard that Osibanjo was trending. Only 2 weeks ago, after his visit from the east, we hear that the governor of, I think it's Enugu State or one of those states, has begun to gain maximum proportion from the president. Some have also said that indeed he wants power to remain in the north. Some have also said no, President Buhari is keen for power to come to the south, which in my view is the right thing to be done. He has allowed his vice president to pick a form and is running. We have the self-acclaimed leader of the party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is running. We have a plethora of ministers in this cabinet of President Muhammad Buhari running. The likes of Amechi, the likes of Ogbonaya Onu. I overheard, I think last week, that the Minister for Labor and Employment, Ngigi, has left. But of course, there are so many names now, and a lot of people have picked form in APC. If you were an APC candidate or delegate today, Comrade Lamte, who will you be rooting for? Speak to the candidacies that we have at the moment, rooting to be president from the party of the APC.
To be honest with you, I actually don't know where Governor Umahi stands. Umahi of Ebonyi State.
Yes, I think it's the one I was trying to say, not Enugu State. Yes.
I don't know. I don't really see him much on the field, but I do hear. I've heard that he's in the race. Apart from somebody like Peter Obi, I think Governor Umahi is another person who tick the box for me, because he's a present governor, and you know, I can tell you that from what we gather from Ebonyi State since he became governor, the man has been massive. He's been dispensing governance, you know, properly for the state. So I think that he ticks the box for me, to be honest. So if he's in the race for the APC, I think that it would be a good choice. You understand what I'm saying now? But beyond him, looking at the picture we have here, you know, these are the loudest, you know, aspirants that we tend to have. You know, I don't really know what the others are doing. That's why this picture is out here. I probably think I will beyond Governor. I think I will place my bet on Osinbajo, because somehow from the way our nation is, we may not be able to use the criterion of Buhari to fully make judgments of Osinbajo, because the Nigerian system is such that as a vice, you know, we saw it in the time of Obasanjo. You know, there was a huge rift between Atiku. It almost cost Atiku his office. You know, somehow the vice is made a puppet, and even the constitution made it very clear. You know that you act in the absence of Mr. President or carry out any other function that you shall be assigned to do. And so, as a vice, you will always live, under the shadow of your boss, and again, a couple of times, or one time when, Osinbajo was saddled with the responsibility of being an acting president, there were flashes of brilliance, including, sacking the former flippant DSS director. I've forgotten his name. And it did not go down well with the cabal at all. But he did that. But that man did not come back and all of that. We could see some moves. So I probably think that, APC, rooting for Osinbajo may be, one that we may not go wrong with. This is my own opinion. I'm just giving a leeway to Simba, but otherwise, I think that Governor Umahi may actually be mad that if we have Umahi for APC and have Peter Obi for PDP, I think that Nigerians would sit back and relax and be happy that anywhere you go, the thing's okay.
I am surprised at you today, Comrade. There is so much differences between me and you. I could have given you this very onerous responsibility to become an APC person for 24 hours, and you have, I don't know, ignored, avoided, excommunicated the Jagaban of Lagos. In this period where money talks, he is a bigwig. I'm surprised that he was not in contention in your speech. Do you think Tinubu doesn't stand a chance within the rank of the APC, or you think the presidency has ignored him? I'm surprised you didn't say anything about him. He doesn't stand.
I'll tell you point blank, bro. If APC makes the mistake of making Jagaban their candidate, it's a huge tragedy for the Nigerian state.
But I must tell you, among all the APC aspirants, Jagaban has been crisscrossing. He's everywhere. He's doing a lot. Do you think he will be ignored?
Now, look, man, I think his money is going to buy him somewhere. His money may even buy him the ticket. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? But that does not make him the right choice. It's just like we talk about Atiku. Atiku is spending a lot of money. He may even actually emerge as a candidate of the PDP. But that doesn't make him the best candidate to emerge. If Atiku emerges as PDP, candidate, it's a huge tragedy for Nigeria. It means that, the status quo is going to remain or probably get worse. If, what's his name, Jagaban emerges, as APC, flag bearer, it's a tragedy for Nigeria. And at the end of the day, what we want a Nigeria that will be a Nigeria of hope beyond 2023. I tell you the truth. If the right person is not elected president in 2023, believe me, more than 1,000 Nnamdi Kanus will be born in this country overnight. I don't want to be a prophet of doom. Okay, we may not have Nigeria in 2025 if we make the mistake right now.
I see your point. I just want to assure Comrade Bakari that I'm not putting Comrade Lante in a very difficult position. This is the brand of the TCS. In the TCS, we are allowed to make our views. And on many occasions, we do disagree, but we are not disagreeable. All we do is just to deepen democracy and to make our country good for it. To our viewers, the lines are open. Please ring to make your input. We are still talking about 2023, the dilemma of a nation. Is our country in dilemma politically? The answer is obvious. Is our country in dilemma economically? The answer is obvious. Is our country in dilemma in terms of security? The answer is obvious. Is our country in dilemma in terms of education? The answer is obvious. Is our country in dilemma in terms of food? The answer is obvious. Is our country in dilemma in terms of petroleum products that we have in abundance and yet we are suffering? The answer is obvious. Is Nigeria in dilemma in virtually all spheres? The answer seems obvious. And you, our people, you are always the judge. It's still the Comrade Show, the Comrade and Friends, 2023 in focus. Comrade Lante, we have taken a look Though not totally holistic, but to look at all these parties. I want to ask you, if we are going to make a change, what do you have to say to speak to the other 16 parties? Some feeding presidential candidates, some not feeding presidential candidates. What would be your advice to them, and what is their role in 2023?
You know, fundamentally, the flaws in the Nigerian constitution, exposes too many things. The Nigerian 1999 constitution is so flawed that urgently we need to review that constitution. I think that there must be criteria, for political parties to meet to exist. And for the numerous political parties we have, some don't actually need to exist. And INEC should actually just delist some of them, disband them, because many of them don't meet the criteria. Now, for the few ones who may meet the criteria, it is good. I think where many political parties, multi-political parties, is good, though it is not yet practicable in Nigeria, is that you may actually go to certain local governments. You find out that it is one particular political party that is really like local government, because everybody in that local government, or majority of them, believe in the ideologies and the manifesto of that political party. The party may not have a national spread, they may just have a regional arrangement. We see part of it with ABGA, ABGA in Anambra State, for instance, and all of that. I remember way back, in Spain, not just way back, even currently, you have PSOE right now, leading a government at the center, but you go to different regions, different political parties lead different regions. You understand what I'm saying, and all of that. And these are all part of what deepens democracy. That, people have to reach, consult, reach consensus, across varying opinions before decisions are reached. I think we have
Let's
a
take a
caller.
call.
Hello. Yeah, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Emeka. I'm calling from London.
Go ahead, sir, Emeka.
Yeah, I'm just watching your analysis via Facebook, and it's quite impressive, and I must commend you for the analysis that you guys have been doing. What attracted me is the last comment that you made. If we might have Nigeria as 2025. If APC made a mistake feeding even Osibanjo as the presidential candidate, it's not going to all go well. Listen, if you don't know, Nigeria should have it at hand. 99.9% of any Igbo-speaking person is sick and tired of being a member of the state. 85% of Igbo youths are going to be more radicalized than Nnamdi Kanu. You can kill, you can point, use gun, you can tell them, but you can't kill the idea. The idea has been sold. The idea has been watered. The knowledge has been transformed from the 10th or the 50th generation is now having it at hand. If Nigeria failed to get it right, if they give Atiku Abubakar a ticket from the north, it's not going to go well, because the southeast will keep agitating. Because where is the problem start? The Igbos have supported Obasanjo 1999. The Igbo supported Osibanjo 2014, 2015, and he became a president, and this is 8 years. The Igbo supported Goodluck Jonathan 99.5%. And now, instead of our southern counterpart to allow the zoning to go direct for the big parties to zone it to the south, now all of them from the south decided now to buy tickets Like Coach Okalo rightly said on TV 3 days ago on channels, since the Southwest do not want the future or the collaboration of the Southeast, they would like the North to take it back. And what he said is the mind of the elite. And the mind of the youth is, I'm in London, I'm not in Nigeria, but I communicate with people back home.
Absolutely.
I listen to the opinion, I keep quiet, and I calculate over it, trying to understand the direction that these guys are going. A little kid in primary school, that is what I mean, kindergarten, between 5 and 10, knows what is sit at home. If a kindergarten child knows what is sit at home, means a lot. And the Nigerian system is not understanding it. You think it's by bullets. You think it's by gun. And the current that is going on now, this black issue that is going on, currently in Boronu, I saw it on Channel Flash. There is a security threat there in Boronu on a suspect of blasphemy. It's going on. This is the third state. Religious war might hit Nigeria between now and 2025. And we will either disintegrate or we'll go back to regional system of government, or we'll give power to the states more than the federal. Because you can't tell me that Lagos that has seaport, has airport, has big firms and industries. You are not telling me that Kano, that doesn't have seaport, is now more populated than Lagos. What do an Igbo man have to buy in Lagos? And Abba determine the market force of every commodity that you sell in Nigeria. If you like, take it or not. Before you sell an iron or cement in the morning, they will tell you, please, let me call Onitsha. Lagos will tell you, let me call Onitsha. So who is calling Kano to determine the market force of Nigeria? If you like, take it or not, the Igbos are more radicalized now, more than any other thing. And the religious war is getting close. The South is playing a selfish politics. They should unite and defeat. Either they go their separate road of northern Nigeria or southern Nigeria, or let's say Nigeria goodbye, or let's do the needful things of region and still get the same name, Nigeria. I remember I wasn't born in 70s and 60s when they say when the Igbos are at the top of our belt, and that is when you can tell me that $1 is $1. Please, when you people analyze it, I'm not supporting P2P. I can support him as a good candidate. I'm not supporting him based on brotherlyhood, no. But let's look inward, because if we visit this 2030, British government, I trust them. They will just send flights to Nigeria overnight to pick their citizens. And look at Ukraine now. Ukraine is suffering. Russia is just sitting down in their compound. Not even a gunshot has been in Russia, but in Ukraine, people are suffering. If you like, give them 1 million aid, they will suffer.
Thank you so much, my brother Emeka.
All right, Emeka. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother Emeka. I think he has made a very valid point, which indeed you are due to. As we wrap up today, Comrade Lamte, because like we said, this issue of 2023 is going to be an ongoing issue, all aimed in creating awareness, deepening understanding about our country. He said something just now, which I just want you to, let's talk about it briefly. Because I listened to an interview in channels, I think on Friday or Thursday, where there is a serious outcry to say that a large chunk of the Easterners, maybe the elite or the politicians, are angry at the way Southerners have come out in their drove. And they think if this go all the way and they don't get it, they will be supporting the North. And in the North, they want to support the Northeast. I know Emeka has answered it briefly, but I just want you to throw a 1-minute liner on this. How will it be if the Northeast, because they haven't become president as well, although it has always been in the North, will it be good for our country, for equity and fairness, for the next president of Nigeria, another Northerner, given the fact that Northeast indeed have been marginalized within the Northern Hemisphere? Just in 2 minutes.
Former Sister Remiran, I tell you, Nigeria has always thrived on injustice, and I fear for the future of this country. And I tell you, and the reason why some of us are taking our time to do the things we do is because we truly love this country because of the potentials, okay, therein. We are so diversified and we are richly diversified in a way that if we're able to honestly harness our diversity, Nigeria is the greatest country in this world. Unfortunately, we are just using our hands to throw away, this beauty of creation that God just gave to humanity with with our selfishness, with our wickedness. Everywhere, there's only just one narrow passage to getting it right. And that narrow passage is let the mandate go to somebody from Southeast. First and foremost, that creates a balance, creates some sense of belonging. The Easterners that this brother Emeka talked about just now that are disenchanted is that these guys, they don't feel a part of this arrangement anymore. And so at some point, when we are getting just started, at some point, we can no longer resist it except we want to use force. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? And then when you are using force, it will no longer be like it was in 1967 because all parts of Nigeria will not be on the same page on this. Because between 1970, when the war ended, and now, there had been intermarriages between the Easterners and the Westerners and the Southerners and all of that. And so there is more a big family between the East and the South out. You understand what I'm saying now? And even the West. To that extent, you may find that Nigeria may just be drifting into a gentleman agreement of everybody going your own way, which is not healthy.
So, in your view, it will not be good, it will not augur well. Just the final question.
In my own view, apart from the Eastern, the Southeast, the Igbo, narrative, we equally have the religious narrative. How can you have a Muslim Northerner as president for 8 years to another Muslim Northerner will take over from him in this same country? My brother, I got as a beer. You not go become one of the Kanu.
Thank you. You've anchored it with that final word, it gets as it be. And for those of us that speak pidgin English, it gets as it be is not very good because it means it is not pure, it's not original, there's no cohesion. Now, Comrade, my final discourse on this as we wrap up. It is possible that a Peter Obi may emerge from PDP as the standard presidential flag bearer. It may not also be possible. That's on the one hand. If we look at APC, in the course of our discussion, we've tinted a bit and we still think that somebody should come from the Southeast. And the governor of Ebonyi State seemed to be trending and fitting the bill. So it may be an Umahi from APC. It may not be an Umahi from APC at the end of the day. June, first week of June is just round the corner. My question to you, if it's not a Peter Obi and it's edged out, should there be a plan B? What do you think we can do? If Obi is a good candidate, can he not run in other party? Would there not be option for plan B? I just want to speak to that as we wrap up.
To be honest, I mentioned this, earlier today. I had a broadcast earlier today, and somebody called me. I plan a broadcast for tomorrow, the day after, directly to Peter Obi. Like, if Peter Obi does not get the PDP ticket, he should go to a different political party and get the ticket of that party. We will mobilize 30 million Nigerians for him. Anywhere Obi goes and becomes a flag bearer, be rest assured that Nigerians will go with him.
In quick succession, would you do same for anywhere Umahi goes?
Now, these dynamics are they are a bit more like some quadratic equation in mathematics. Now, If Peter Obi doesn't get the tickets in PDP, for instance, and you have an Umahi getting the ticket in APC, I will tell you that many Nigerians will feel a bit consoled and move massively to support Umahi. If Peter Obi doesn't get a ticket in PDP and he decides not to chase the ambition further, and we now have a possible Umahi, a candidacy emerging from APC, my brother, I will immediately get baptized into the Umahi movement and support him. For me, it is not about the political party, it's about the human being that is coming out. So this is what we are appealing to the delegates. Don't let us be faced with the choices of two evil. You understand what I'm saying now? Do not say we have Atiku and we have a Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That will be the biggest of tragedies to our political space. So that's why we are saying, man, look, give us Obi for this PDP. At least that one is a surer bet than probably Umahi in APC. But I tell you, for the naysayers who are saying that if Obi gets a ticket some are saying that they are not going to give Obi because Obi cannot win APC. More than you give and first for PDP. Then you will see and understand that there are so many comrades out here. There are so many comrades from our sister Iremira, so many comrades Dr. Agbons, and so many of such people that will mobilize 30 million Nigerians to support the candidacy of Peter Obi and make him the president of Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lante.
You have another caller.
Oh, we have another caller. Let's take that caller.
Hello. Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
We can't hear him.
You may have to speak louder, sir. We are not hearing clearly.
I said my name is Dixon, and I'm calling from Luton, United Kingdom.
Go ahead, Mr. Dixon.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lamte. I've been following your program on the ground, and I will commend your job. You've done beautiful, especially during the time of Godwin Obaseki. You did beautifully and came out successfully. On this issue that we are discussing tonight or this afternoon, the last caller, I don't quite subscribe to his perception at all. But your analysis previously said it all. I have always, for a couple of weeks back, I've been listening to you, and your analysis was a bit one-sided. That almost put me off. But tonight, so this afternoon's analysis, so beautiful, between Osubajo and Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a beautiful soul. There's no politician at this moment on the ring that can be compared to Peter Obi. That's the honest truth. But we must understand one thing, that it's not how beautiful you are that tells the kind of husband that comes to you. It's not how beautiful Peter Obi is that will determine that it's going to get the power. Having said that, you must understand that there are times and seasons in politics. Right now, you'll be thinking because they have never won that position of that privilege or that position to handle this number one citizen, and so this could be the season or the time for him. No, we do not go by that. Most of these politicians that is going around right now, somebody like Atiku, to Safaraki, to Tambuwa, they are all political non-starters. They don't know politics at all. They are not even playing. They don't even have ethics at all. And so we do not look at their direction. But suffice it, Atiku has already put in place how to kick Peter Obi out of PDP at the end of the game. So people should understand, as at this moment, Peter Obi is not going to get the ticket. He's doing his best, but he's not going to get the ticket. That is sure. And at the end of the day, one will be thinking, oh, it was just a stroke of chance. It's not not a spirit of term. PDP and APC, they are all the same.
Absolutely.
Just the same corruption in PDP, the same corruption in APC. And the same politician that takes the tune in politics in Nigeria are same people. And the children, the grandchildren, and the great-grandchildren are the ones still at the floor running the politics of the day. So in conclusion, I will say Peter Obi's time is coming. Peter Obi is going to be a president. He's going to be the president in Nigeria. The time is coming. But again, let me go back to what the young man said. There is going to be a lot of Americans springing up at the end of the day if he doesn't, if another southern state takes power and then rule out and win eventually. There's going to be no, it won't happen. I will tell you from history, Nigeria is such a diverse nation that wouldn't want what has happened previously to happen again. We have all learned our lessons and it will happen. I bet to say that. In conclusion, therefore, we should be looking at Osunbajo. Tinubu is a disaster. Tinubu that wanted to spoil those states, he got his finger burnt. That same thing is going to, I think different states of the nation has come to realize that. And so they are going to eat his money and fool him just the way they have fooled Atiku. But for somebody like Amechi also is a good politician, but on this platform that he came out as a presidential candidate, I would say that it's not the era for him to do so. Thank you very much. That's the little I can say for now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, my brother Dixon, for that call. I think your analysis is very important, but I would say hopefully maybe in another of our program you'll call again so that we can have more interaction. But I think what you said that we need a change. All politicians, APC and PDP are the same. But I think I beg to differ. At this moment, we cannot wait anymore. We need a Peter Obi or the likes of Peter Obi. Waiting and saying it's not his time, I think it's not the right thing to call now. We need anything good. We can't afford to wait anymore. But thank you so much for that. I think, Omelante, we are rounding up. You were trying to make a point when that call came. I don't know if you still want to make the point or you want us to call the program a day.
Remind me, sir. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think you've almost made your point. I did ask a question. What is the alternative? Can another ticket not be picked if Peter Obi or Umahi do not emerge as candidate from their party? I think you made that point very clear.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to say a word or two on that. Why?
No, not really. I think that's we will advocate if Obi will have a chance to move to another political party, because right now it will not, when it come, it will not be about the party. It will be a lot more about this particular candidate. You understand?
Fantastic. So we anchor it on that.
Yes.
Correlate Pawosa and indeed myself think that at this point, given the fact that we've all agreed that we are in a very difficult place, the candidate and not the party, the person and not the party is important at this point. On this note, I want to thank all our viewers who have joined us today to make TCS, the segment of the Comrade Show we always call the Comrade and Friends, very thick. It's been a very interactive session today. Myself and Comrade Lante, and indeed our viewers with their contributions, I've tried to look at 2023, the national election, and indeed where our country will sit in 2023. We've looked at this whole issue. We first look at the peoples of Nigeria. We said today that you are very important. You have a very important role to play. Get your PVCs, play a part in shaping Nigeria. We've looked at the parties. We've looked at the parties today, and we've also said that delegates that will be going for these delegate elections should look closely, should consider Nigeria first before party, and that the right choice and the right candidate should and must emerge democratically. We finally zero to find that given the situation in our country at this moment, it is only fair on the basis of equity that the candidate indeed should come from the Southeast, at least to give a sense of balance and to give that Nigerianness, because we are indeed uniquely placed. We've considered and thought that in PDP it will make sense for Peter Obi to amend as a candidate, and even in APC for the incumbent governor of Ebonyi State, Governor Umahi, to amend. Should that happen, we will know either bend or break, head or tail, the next president will come from the Southeast. But these are mere speculations. These are our own feelings. These are our advice. It's left for the party to decide. And whosoever the party decide, Nigerians will be wiser to follow. We've also argued that even if you come from the East, like in Peter Obi and Governor Umahi, and they don't emerge, there are other political parties in the wings waiting. Many people are marching and rooting for Peter Obi. Let's see if all this will come to fruition. But wherever you stand, all we stand for is to see Nigeria to take its place in the pride of nations and be great. And I will leave this situation of being in dilemma. It's on that note that I want to thank you very much. And I want to thank our two callers, coincidentally, all calling from the United Kingdom. Emeka calling from London, United Kingdom. Your input was indeed very hard. Thank you so much for ringing in. And also our brother Dixon from the United Kingdom, who made a very valid point, although we differ in certain things. We thank you so much for all that you said today. To our viewers out there on Facebook, on YouTube, and other media channels that have been contributing and making input, we are indeed very grateful. Thank you for staying with the Comrade Show, your darling program. I will pass the baton to Comrade to do the final razzmatazz, because I do and always like those razzmatazz when it's done by the CEC himself. But I remain your friend, your brother, Comrade Augustine Iremira. Do stay out of trouble. Have a very good week. Comrade, please, can you round up?
Thank you very much, coming from Mrs. Austin Iremira. Yes, fellow Nigerians across the world, greetings to you. Thank you very much for taking your time to be with us. Please, I want to enjoin you. Help share these broadcasts. One of the things that we request of you, particularly when it comes to discussing Nigerian political space at the national level, is to encourage you guys to share our broadcast, because like the Bible says, it says faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. If we don't share, it will not spread to the people, and we want the messages to go down to the people. It's very important, to the delegates most especially, because right now it's a defining moment for Nigeria, and it's just so fortunate and unfortunate for the future of this nation right now to lie in the hands of some less than 4,000 delegates across the nation, on each side of the divide. Anyhow, this is where we find ourselves. But let's share so that they can get the message. We're going to see you guys again. The show must go on. We'll continue with the chase. We've had a very, healthy discussion. People have called in to express different opinions and all of that. The truth of the matter is that, like our people say in Edo State, in Benin, that everybody cannot just lie down and face the same direction. So it's the same. People are going to have different views and all of that. But what everybody must agree on is that Nigeria is in a precarious state, and the decision we take right now will determine what happens to the future of Nigeria. And looking at this as something that all of us agree with, basically, across board, it therefore becomes very essential that even our disagreement on who to lead the mantle of leadership and take us out of this political, economic, and security quagmire, a window is open. And that window is that for equity, for fairness, for justice, for fair play. That window is that we should have an Igbo man or Igbo woman become the president of Nigeria. And looking at those on the feed right now, the one outstanding person that most people can actually equally agree on is Peter Obi. Let's not make the mistake. Whether you're a candidate, whether you're a delegate from the north, from the south, from east, from west, let's do the needful. We still have about a week plus to make that decision. Let's support Peter Obi. Let's change the direction of this country. This is the duty a huge duty for the PDP. And for the APC, the idea of some of the aspirants we have in APC is unthinkable. Of course, if somebody like Governor Umahi is around, please, this man is a likely person that Nigerians too can vouch for. And of course, like I will not have my feelings. I will equally still say that our assessment of what's his name, the Vice President Osibanjo, if the worst come to the worst, we may not, use the window of the failures of Buhari to completely, make judgment of Osibanjo. He may be an option if the worst come to the worst. But finally, if PDP fails to give the ticket to Peter Obi, Nigerians are already saying that Peter Obi should probably look through a different window of another political party. And I tell you, many of us are ready to mobilize 30 million Nigerians to vote for Peter Obi. On that note, my people, we'll see you again when we see you. It's been the Comrade Show, the Comrade and Friends. Bye for now.
Are you a business owner? Do you make your own products? This is your best opportunity ever. Register your brand now with the first and largest marketplace promoting Nigerian-made products. Get access to over 17 million shoppers and customers currently in need of your products. Download on Google Play Store now to register or visit ekioja.com. Focus on creating your passion. Leave the marketing to us.
Comrade Show, Comrade Lante Oriakne. This is the Comrade Show.